The following audio recording has been designed for learning purposes only. Do not share, distribute, or provide any type of copies, or this audio lesson will not be made available to you. Good luck with today's lesson.
That's a good point. That's one that some people bring up, all right? I mean, if the person's not even writing his own speech or her own speech, does it really matter? I mean, it's not their word. They can't be at fault, right? Now, this example here with Obama, I mean, he had been known to write some of his own speeches. Okay, so he just borrowed this one from another person. So yeah, you guys are pretty good. Usually, I have some people say no, they wouldn't vote for the person. So okay, that's interesting. Even if it was like a top thing with president and stuff like that. Now, I think they mentioned Biden, which I'm surprised that even though he's running for president again, I'm surprised that one hasn't. The incident they bring up here hasn't come up again. It was kind of creepy because he was like this close, much closer than he is now to being the nominee for president for the Democrats. And it was a big scandal when that came out because he stole big chunks from this other guy's speech. I mean, major chunks. And it was like, why? Because he had a very interesting life himself. All right, I mean, very tragic, story. His first wife died, killed his daughter in a car accident. He had raised his sons by himself and everything. Very tragic story. So the fact that he stole some, not just words from this other guy's speech, but life story from the other guy's speech is kind of creepy, like the guy said. So I'm really surprised that hasn't come out yet. And the plagiarism in school too, that hasn't come out yet. But it's interesting. Okay, a whole thing about plagiarizing and everything like that. Now, this obviously didn't hurt Obama. But what could Obama have done to prevent this whole thing and this article not even having been written? What could Obama have done? So if he just, now that you kind of, yeah. Like, are you going to say, what could he have done? What could he have said when you say credited it?
Like, just state, this is a speech by, a foreigner.
Yeah, he could have just said, as my friend Devil Patrick said, all right? He could have simply credited where he got the words from, where he got the information from. That would have taken care of everything. That would have made everything perfect, okay? We're going to talk about that now because that's what I'm going to actually be looking for from you guys. I mentioned it earlier a couple weeks ago in your persuasive speeches, okay? That's called an oral citation when you do that. When you cite someone else in your speech where you got that information. In Obama's case here, if he had simply said, as my friend Devil Patrick said, blah, 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 that not only gives him the right to say it, and gives that citation so he doesn't have to worry about any reporters saying, oh, he stole that. Well, no, he didn't because he said where he got it from. But it gives him this kind of credibility, all right? I mean, Devil Patrick, governor of Massachusetts, people might think, wow, he knows Devil Patrick, all right? I mean, that's pretty heady stuff, okay? So that's that kind of oral citation I'm going to be looking from you guys, all right, for your persuasive speeches, where you tell us where you got some information. You might even quote someone, all right, who's an expert, and it's going to help your argument. And you don't look like you're making it up. You quote this person and you say where you got it. Yeah, you've got the information in your work cited, in your bibliography, in your outline, but the audience isn't going to see your work cited, all right? So you've got to tell them where you got this information. In a speech, you have to do that. All right, you might have the most honest face in the world, but if your audience doesn't look like, think, well, it looks a little shady, you got to tell them that. All right, so we're going to talk about that. Okay, talking about plagiarism and stuff like that, and what makes your speech credible. Okay, so in terms of finding information, finding info, what does it have to be? Well, there's several things. All right, one, it has to be factual. All right, that makes sense. It has to be reliable. All right, it's the same everywhere. Well supported. Do the experts all back you up on what you're saying? Current. All right, is it up to date? Okay, you're not citing information that's very, years or decades old. Verifiable. Okay. if someone takes you up on this, if someone says, well, I'm going to check on what Connor said in the speech, they'll say, yeah, okay, he wasn't lying. That's true. Is it fair? Okay. Did you look at both sides? Okay. Did you look at reputable sources, or did you just go to one thing? A group that's kind of agrees with what you're saying. Is it comprehensive? Did you look at? Did you do a thorough search of information? All right. Did you really do a good investigation, or is all your information, is all your speech based on one book and that's it? Because you were lazy, the game was on. You really didn't want to do too much research. You grabbed the first book you saw. This is all I'm going to use. Okay. Is it comprehensive? These are things people are going to be basing your speech on. They're going to look at the information in your speech. They're going to apply these questions. If any one of these falls short, your speech falls short. Okay? So we're going to look at some things that's important. Okay? Applying critical, and this is a key word we're going to come back to in another class. Critical thinking skills. Because your audience is always thinking. Okay. Recognize. Yeah, I gotta learn how to spell. Dubious or not always true claims. Okay. First one. Stories, anecdotes. I've told you throughout the semester, stories are great. Stories are wonderful. Use stories whenever you can. And that's true. I'm not going to go back on that. Stories are one of the strongest tools you can use in a speech. All right? Use it in an introduction, and a good story gets your audience's attention from the get-go. Okay? It's great. End your speech with a story. People leave with a good image, a nice, strong image, all right, of what you've said. Use it throughout your speech. They can be effective too. But stories. Imagine if I gave a persuasive speech and my entire speech was just made up of stories. Okay? Is that really going to convince you? Probably not. If my speech was on why you should eat a more high-fiber diet that's going to help your heart, and my entire speech was on this guy's eating more bran muffins, this woman's eating more fiber, this guy's eating more fiber, and as a result, these people are all healthy now, they're running marathons and everything. Would that really make you think, wow, yeah, I should eat more fiber? No, it wouldn't convince me, because I'd say, those are 3 people out of hundreds of millions of people in the country, billions of people in the world. You pick 3 people. That's not very strong. All right? Those are just stories. You can't do just that. God bless her. When my mom started driving again, it took a long time break when she had kids, everything. It was so funny. What? Oh, Connor, we go. You need coffee more than I do. Couldn't even tell. Anyway, when my mom started driving again, just don't snore. Started driving again after a long break between not driving. And she started learning to drive again. No lie. First time she started driving, pulling into the garage, she hit the gas instead of the brake, went to the wall in the garage, put a hole in the garage, drove almost into the kitchen. Okay? Now, if I said that story, and it's true, and I said, my speech was on, and ladies, I'm just making this up, okay? This isn't true. I would never give the speech. My persuasive speech is on why women are worse drivers than men. And that was all. That was all. That's, believe me, that's not true. See my son drive. So, and if I said that was all, that was my speech, and that was what I was basing on, and other stories like that. Would that convince you? No. That would just mean my mom is not a great driver, okay? That's just a story. What would I need besides that? What would help count?
Statistics.
Yeah, statistics, man. If I had like figures from the state police on more accidents by women than men, insurance companies, stuff like that. Statistics showing, backing it up, all right? And I'm sure they don't back it up, okay? But if I had stuff like that, stories like my mom's, they're funny, they're cute, they're everything. But you know what? You can tell me a story about a guy who did the same thing, okay? And it wouldn't prove anything. This. You gotta have more than just that. Right? So stories are great. Stories are wonderful. All right. But if your whole speech, especially a persuasive speech, is just stories, you're not going to convince anyone. You might entertain them, but you're not going to convince anyone. Okay? Testimonials. Another thing. These are all things I've told you use. But Now I'm telling you, be careful. All right, quotes. Yeah, you know what? I mentioned quotes, testimonials from experts in the field are great. And I kind of touched on this earlier, so I'm not going to really belabor it. But make sure those testimonials, those quotes are from experts who actually back you up. Okay? I think I used the example of, you don't see him now anymore, but if you see, is Dr. Oz an expert? I mean, raise your hand if you think Dr. Oz, Dr. Oz on TV is a credible person, credible to cite in a speech. Nobody thinks Dr. Oz is credible anymore? Why not?
He has so many controversial stances.
He is controversial. And he's pushing a lot of products too. He pushes a lot of products. So I know that weight loss products, memory helping memory, stuff like that. And he's gotten in trouble for that too. But still, he's a renowned heart surgeon. I'd have him do surgery on my heart if I had a chance. He's on staff at Columbia University in New York City. He's a renowned surgeon. He's a great doctor, a great cardiac surgeon.
Stick with that.
What's that?
Stick with that.
Yeah, but I think, like Rabe said, he's kind of been tainted now. If I'd have to say that and prove my point. You can have a speech just on, is Dr. Oz credible now? All right. Is Dr. Phil credible? Oh, I'd say no, definitely not. Okay, on that. Okay. These are people you might not want to use. Okay. So the example I used before, like used to show these commercials of athletes saying, eye surgery is important because my vision is important to me in my career. Well, somebody whose vision isn't important to them in anyone's career. Okay. I'd say a truck driver, their vision is more important than to an athlete. But who's to say? I mean, it's always important to anyone. Okay. So, like I said, I think an eye surgeon saying, I went to this eye surgeon for my surgery, that would have more influence on me. So the testimonial, make sure the person who's giving the quote is actually an expert and that your audience thinks, yeah, that's an expert. But even then, a whole speech just on quotes from people, even experts, isn't always going to convince your audience. If I gave you a speech and I wanted to convince you why you should vote for my candidate, and all I gave you was more, this politician says this guy's great. This politician says this guy's great. Well, is that going to convince you? Maybe, if you really love those other politicians, but it wouldn't convince me. I'd say, well, I'm kind of cynical. I'd say, well, yeah, they're probably getting something out of it, okay? So I wouldn't say testimonials are always, but they help. Just like stories, they help, and they are strong. But just that, I don't know, okay? And the last one, opinions. Opinions are kind of like testimonials, okay? Opinions are like testimonials. Now, if I were to say to you, Julia Roberts is the greatest actress in the world today. Okay? I don't really think that. She's bringing to mind. Julia Roberts is the greatest actress in the world. Okay? Is that true? To me, it would be. I mean, I'd say, well, you could say, well, Meryl Streep's won more awards, and I don't know. I can't think of any other actresses offhand. But yeah, isn't that Julia Roberts? I don't know. Kind of, maybe she's good. All right. But if I were to say Julia Roberts is an Academy Award-winning actress, it's true. She won an award, Academy Award one. You couldn't argue with that. You could not argue with that. They're not going to take that away. I don't think they can. But so know the difference between an opinion and a fact. All right. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. All right. If I were to say, yeah, Julia Roberts is the greatest actress in the world, that was pretty obvious. You can argue with that one. If you've got your own favorite actress, you can say, nah, so-and-so's better. Okay. But if I say she's an Academy Award-winning actress, you might do some fact checking. Oh, yeah, he's right. Okay, she did win one. All right, and you can't argue with that. But even still, obviously, I don't have to really go into this. If I gave a speech just based on opinions, that's definitely not going to convince an audience because you've got your own set of opinions. Okay, so yeah, these things. I mean, they're strong, they're good, especially these two. I'm never going to tell you to not use them. I'm still going to tell you to use them. They're strong, they're good. But just the speech, just using stories, it's great, it's cute, but you're not going to convince the audience. Testimonials, those are really powerful, but just quotations from people, even that's not going to convince people. Okay? Let's see, what else do I want to say? Oh, find more Okay. So you're doing your research. You go to the library. You actually go to the library. You think, I'm not going to be lazy. I'm going to go to a library and do research. And you find a great book. A book that thick, with all the information you want. All the information you think you need for your speech. Could you go with just that? Should you go with just that one book? No? Why not?
There's just one piece of source.
It's just one source, yeah. Exactly. First of all, for this class, you need 5 sources. You're going to need 5 sources. Okay, so for your speech, you need 5 sources. But why should you have one just one? I mean, one's not great, but why should you have more than one? What are some reasons for that? What if that one book was published 30, 40 years ago? All right? That book is already out of date. You found the one book that the librarians managed to miss when they were cleaning up the shelves and getting rid of all the old stuff. So you found a book that's great and everything, but it's out of date. All right? And the information in it is out of date. So that means your speech is out of date. All right? And your audience is pretty smart. They're pretty intelligent. They're college educated. They think, wow, this is old stuff. This has all been proven false. All right? Proven wrong. So it could be old. All right? Could be proven wrong. Even if it's more recent, people say, no, that's been disproved. That's not true. All right? So you want to find more than just one source. Okay? Because, yes, it could be old, it could be wrong, and it just makes your argument a lot stronger. Okay? Why just use the information in there when you've got a lot more information that can back you up? Okay? There's so much more out there. So you want more than just one source. And then look at opposing view and info. So your time is limited, all right? Your time is limited. You only got so many hours in a day. You've got school, you've got your friends, you've got your job maybe. Why should you waste your time looking up information on the other side? If you're giving a persuasive speech on why we should have capital punishment, all right? Why should you spend your time looking up articles and information on why we should not have capital punishment? Why should you waste your time? That's not your argument. Why should you bother with that? There's a reason.
So you can make your argument stronger.
She can make your argument stronger, yeah. It definitely makes your argument stronger. Because you're looking at their point of view, and okay, well, this is a strong argument that the other side is always bringing up. If you look at enough articles from the other side, they're always bringing this up, they're always bringing this up, they're always bringing this up. Okay, I've got to counter that argument, right? I've got to counter that argument. I've got to find something that goes against that argument. So yeah, you've got to do that. And then remember, Q&A, question and answer period, okay? A lot of speeches now have Q&A. I'm not sure, we probably will have time for Q&A in this class, okay? If there's questions after your speech, questions that oppose you, all right? Chances are very good there's going to be someone that doesn't agree with what you say, with what you think, with your opinion. You want to be on guard. You want to be prepared if someone asks you a question that goes to the heart of what you think, what you say. So if they ask you a question and you aren't prepared for it, all that great, credibility that you've earned, those points that you scored because you gave a great speech are going to go out the window because this person's just made a great point and just kind of cut you off. All right. So you want to be prepared with an answer, and the only way you're going to be prepared with an answer is if you've studied the other side. Kind of suspect that someone's going to ask this question. You looked at their opposing view. You looked at their point of view. You looked at their arguments. You're ready for it. Okay. Remember we talked about on Tuesday. We said that if you're talking to an audience that's going to be antagonistic towards you, that doesn't agree with you, one thing you want to do is bring up their point of view. All right. You said you have to do that. That's just essential. All right. I want to see you guys do that in your persuasive speeches. All right. Now, your class isn't antagonistic. They don't dislike you, but I still want to see you guys do that. That's a good practice to do that. All right. Because you kind of anticipate what they're going to say. All right. So bring up their point of view in your speech, and the only way you're going to know their point of view is if you've looked at other pieces of information other than your own. Okay. So yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but it's not a bad idea. All right. Careful with polls, surveys. All right. I did say too that one other thing that people like using are statistics, polls, surveys, stuff like that. They're great. They're wonderful. I'm not going to say go away. Don't use them. You should use them. Be careful. Be careful. Who's doing the polls? Who's doing the survey? Does this survey group have a hidden agenda? Okay. If it's done by a group that does a lot of surveys for the Republicans, they're going to have kind of a hidden agenda. Do they do surveys mostly for Democrats? They've got a hidden agenda. Okay. Be careful of that. Be very, very careful. Okay. How do they phrase the question? I was watching reading a poll the other day, and I'm like, my God, the way they ask the question, there's no way they're gonna. You gotta be careful with the answer. Okay, so be careful with this. All right, use polls, use surveys. For one thing, people don't answer honestly. All right, people have been shown people don't answer honestly. Well, in the last election, presidential election, that's why Trump. It was such a surprise he won. People didn't want to admit they voted. We were going to vote for him, but then they're alone in that voting booth, and they did. Okay. Okay. Let's see. And the last one, I'm going to hand up for that one. Careful. What's it? A. Careful with groups with misleading names. Okay. A lot of times these groups will come up with names and they sound legitimate. They're really not. Okay? Let's see. For example, this is a little dated. Republicans for Clean Air. All right, those are groups supporting Bush. Americans Coming Together, a liberal labor-backed group that worked for the Democrats. Citizens for Better Care, that was funded by drug makers that ran ads against price controls on medicines. So these groups that sound like they're all, it's a wonderful group. Who would not be opposed to a group called Citizens for Better Medicine, for Better Medicare, for Better Medicare? Who'd be against that? We're all good citizens. We're all good for better Medicare. Then you find out it's actually a group of run by the medicine companies, all right, drug companies. You want to be careful, okay? This is something I want you to want to do. When you do your research for your speech, you're going to be finding groups like this, maybe. Are they really just fronts? Are they really just front organizations that have an agenda? All right. Do they really just have an agenda? You've got to be careful. Okay. I think you guys are right thinking about the weekend. Okay. So, all right. I'm not going to go too much about the internet because, again, you guys know more about it than I do. When you're on the internet, watch out, okay, for anything with too much of a high-tech design. Is it too fancy? Don't be fooled by that. Let's see. Things you want to look for. Look for the dates. When was that page? When was that website? Updated. If it's been a long time, I wouldn't use it. Okay. The domain. Good. Look at that. Who's the sponsor? Who put together the outfit, the website? I remember my son back in high school. I forgot what he was doing a speech on, something about Thanksgiving. And he thought, oh my God, the site was so great, it was so fantastic, he was going to use it. And I looked at it, it was put together by a bunch of college students at some university. I'm like, this is not good, it's got mistakes in it and everything. So, look at who's putting it together. Is it a reputable organization? Is it an organization that might sound good, like on that page there, and it really is just a front for another organization that has an agenda? Be careful. Be careful, okay? Let's see. Oh, this is the one that gets, I'm telling you, I do check your sources. Is it selling something? That one is the biggest one. If there's anything I have to say, and I'm surprised the book doesn't mention this, if there's anything that gets students in trouble, they use sources that they think are legit, that they think are great. And I'm like, if you look at it, they're selling a product, all right? No website that's selling a product is legitimate, all right? They've got an agenda. So don't use any source, any website that's selling something. Even I've had some students, for example, are giving a speech about why you should adopt dogs from shelters instead of buying them. That's a great topic. That's a wonderful topic. But then they'll go to like websites, and these sites are asking for money, all right? Or they're selling products to raise money or something. Well, that's an agenda, all right? They want something in return, okay? They lose all credibility. You lose credibility then, okay? So be careful. Be careful with that, okay? All right. So now we're going to go really quickly into something that you guys probably covered in high school. I got to make sure I spell it right. Plagiarism. Okay, plagiarism. Now, there's three types, all right? Wholesale. What's wholesale plagiarism? You have no shame. You just take big chunks, paragraph here, page here, page there, and you just say, I'm going to take everything. I'm going to take everything. I only had, all my career, had one student. She took the entire speech of one guy who went the week before her. And that was creepy. He gave one speech, and the week after, she gave the exact same speech that he did. And it was really weird. He was sitting behind me. He's like, that's my speech. That's my speech. I'm like, yes, it is. So she never showed up again after that. But it was very weird. But anyway, that's wholesale, all right? You just take pages. You take chunks of it. Obviously, that's just being lazy, okay? And that'll get you in trouble. So you don't want to do wholesale copying. You don't want to do any of this. Cut and paste. Cut and paste. Here you think, okay, I'm going to be a little more industrious. Take a sentence here, take a few words here, take maybe a paragraph here, a sentence here. Just a little cut and paste. That's still plagiarizing. That's still plagiarizing. You want to stay away from that too. All right? Not as bad as wholesale, I guess. Probably more difficult to get caught, but cut and paste, still the same thing. And then you've got the one. This is the one that keeps lawyers in business. Inappropriate paraphrasing. Inappropriate paraphrasing. What is that? Well, according to the courts, even a thought or a concept is original, and you cannot steal that, right? So if I gave a speech and I were to say, I can't think of an example, but were to present something, some idea, all right, and present it as my own, and I didn't give credit to someone else who actually did come up with it, that's plagiarizing, all right? Someone else before me came up with that, and I stole that from that person, and I didn't give credit to that person. That's plagiarizing, all right? So even if I don't cut and paste it, even if I reword it, I take up my thesaurus, and I change everything, the words. It doesn't even look like what the other person wrote. But I present it as my own, that's plagiarizing. It's a lot more tougher to prove. That's why I said the lawyers are busy. But inappropriate paraphrasing. I reword, I do something, I play around with it, and it sounds more like my writing than the other person's, but it's still theirs. All right? That's inappropriate paraphrasing. That's plagiarizing. That's plagiarizing. And again, how can we get around all that? How can we simply, take care of that? By saying the person's name. By doing an oral citation. Oral citation. Simply saying, where did I get the information from? According to Time Magazine's December issue, all right? According to this, bam, you're taken care of. You washed your hands clean, okay? You said, this is where I got the information from. No one's going to hold you over a fire for that, okay? So that is what you want to do, okay? Where do you give the credit? Well, obviously in your footnotes or rather in your outline and your works cited. But yeah, definitely in the speech too, okay? Okay, we're going to talk about this and talk about photos. So let's see, copyrighted material. Copyrighted material. Okay. What happens if you get caught stealing something? Let's see. Copy infringement. Infringement. $100,000 fine. That's a $100,000 fine. Okay? So you don't want to do that. Another term I want you to remember, public domain. What's public domain? That's stuff you can use. Okay? So, for example, you can use anything from publication. If it's anything before 1925. Anything before 1923. So, if Bella finds a book in the library, she's giving a speech on how to take care of your heart, all right? And she finds a book from 1920, all right? Cardiac care, how to take care of your heart. And it says, eat a pound of lard every week, okay? She doesn't feel like citing anything, so she uses this book. I'm not going to cite anyone. I'm too tired. I'm going to use this. She gives a speech and says, we hear, eat a pound of lard. You know, lard is like ugh, okay? You don't eat a pound of fat, pure fat, okay? We're going to think, well, really, where did you get that? Because no one would ever say that now. Well, maybe in 1920s, that's exactly what you want to do. All right? My point is, you don't want, yeah, sure, 1923 before then is great, but that's kind of old. So I wouldn't really use anything. I can't think of anything that hasn't changed since 1923, okay? So I would stay away from that, anything from public domain. Yeah, there are probably some things that you could use, but I can't think of anything. Okay? And the last thing I want you to remember is fair use. Fair use. What you can use. All right? Let's say Nicole here. Nicole gives a speech on, on cutting the lawn. How to cut the lawn perfectly. She loves lawns. Smell of grass, fresh cut lawn. I love that smell too. All right, just it's wonderful. So she wants to give a speech on how to cut the lawn. So she gives a speech to us. And in part of giving the speech, she puts together a beautiful slide presentation. And she goes on Google and she finds these wonderful photographs of like golf courses and I don't know where else, places with beautiful lawn, all right? And we are so impressed by this presentation, we give her a standing ovation. It's a wonderful thing. And those photographs will really put it over the edge. It's really great, okay? Well, now, Nicole is so overwhelmed by our response to her speech. She decides, I'm going to switch gears in my career choice. I'm going to go into landscaping. And I'm going to use the same presentation I gave in class, okay, including those photos I used. Now, when she used the photos in this class, she didn't say where she got those photos. Should you use them? Do you have to use them when you go out to get clients and such? Oh, you had a 50-50 shot. You had a 50-50 shot. I'm sorry. Don't gamble this week. Yeah, you do. Okay?
Even on a photo?
What's that?
Even on a photo?
Even on the photo. Somewhere you have to cite where you got. The thing is this, if you're using a photo like in Google, all right, in the classroom setting, you're fine. You're okay. If it's for educational purposes. Okay? If you're just showing it to the class, the fellow students, you're all right. But as soon as you try to use those photos for anything to make money on, all right, outside here, you have to give credit. You have to give credit. You have to get permission. Okay? You might have to get a business manager and lawyers and all that. Okay? So, but as long as it's in the classroom setting here, you're going to use it for teaching, you're okay. So any of you use photos for your city speeches or anything, you're fine. Okay? In case you were being kept up night wondering, oh my gosh, did I do anything wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. Okay? But if you go out on the road, do something with it, you have to give credit for it. That's what fair use is about. Okay? Any questions about this? What we've covered? No? I haven't had a student yet get in trouble, or sued or anything, so you should be okay. All right. You'll get out early today, but I got one more story. I'm really feeling it right now.
Tell the story, Dave.
Yeah, well, this is a sports one. Well, it's more missions. I feel like missions.
I don't think we should fit.
Well, here, come. Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, so quickly, why do you think these guys were nervous about giving a speech?
Because it's out of the comfort zone.
It's out of the comfort zone. Where do they feel more comfortable at? On the field, yeah. So, I mean, and they had to speak in front of hundreds of people and said, the teammates, probably equipment managers, probably all staff and everything like that. Why do you think D'Antonio makes them give a speech? Yeah, kind of.
Preparing and like performing under pressure and stuff.
Yeah, probably performing under pressure. I mean, yeah, on the field they're probably okay, but some of them are probably still under pressure. So maybe help show them, okay, if you can face, remember we said the greatest fear among Americans, they say, is giving a public speech. All right, so if they can face that, maybe they think, okay, once on the field, they're still under some pressure, maybe they'll help them overcome that too. Do you think it's going to work? Do you think it's going to help these guys? Yes. Yeah? Okay, I mean, I like the one guy who says, I've never taken a public speaking class. I wish I could have. I like hearing that. Okay. They had to give a speech on their feelings. I'm never going to make you guys give a speech on your feelings, so just take heart with that. That's about it. You guys are living on the weekend, man. I can't get you. I cannot get into your mind. So go on, enjoy your weekend. Next week we're going to keep talking about persuasive speeches. Those are the interesting ones. Remember, that one's 6 minutes long, and you need 5 works cited at least. So you probably are going to want to start thinking about what your topic's going to be.
Don't you need to dress up for that one too?
What's that?
Don't you need to like dress up for that one too?
You have to dress up slightly better than you usually do. If you think of of college students wearing jeans and sweatshirts or t-shirts, what you think might be one step above that.
Good luck with today's lesson.